22 million.
We're billionaires?
And they just moved in to Australia's poshest suburb.
Oh my God.
Here come the Habibs, starting February on 9.
Thanks for joining us this morning. As you may have just heard, there have been more bad news on the markets overnight, with shares taking a massive tumble on Wall Street, and similar bad news in London. This shocking start to the year is having an impact on the Australian property markets. We've brought in author of the Morello Matrix and Yellow Brick Road property expert Andrew Morello, who joins me now. Mate, good to see you again. As we heard from Roscoe this morning, I mean, it's more than just a jittery market. There was a massive drop overnight.
Yeah.
So, looking at this at our property market, should people be looking to buy now?
Look, the reality is, David, that the markets will always be there. You know, the economies in these countries have always been there, they always will. The reality is in Australia that there's plenty of opportunity still in the market. A lot of people still in and throughout the major cities are finding opportunities, but also getting smarter, getting educated and looking for chances to capitalise off the markets as well.
So is it still a good place to park your cash in a time like this? I mean, obviously people are going to be worried about putting it in the markets now, but, you know, you're looking at a very volatile world view at the moment.
Yeah.
Should we just be putting our money into bricks and mortar? Is that better?
Well, look, an overall strategy is always the right thing to say, David, but what I will say is, you know, my family immigrated here in the 50s, and we've invested a large portion of our money over the years into property. It's always worked out very well for us. So the reality is that over the last 50 years we've seen exponential growth in Australian property. It's always going to be sought after by the overseas markets as well, and I think that you've got to take into consideration the fact that there are properties that you can invest in, but as well properties that some people need to live in as well. So the reality is that a lot of people actually don't even own their own first home, and that's what they need to start to look to do.
Right, OK. Well, look, we've seen China record its lowest growth figures in 25 years this week. So do you think we're going to see a drop in the number? You were just saying overseas investors, like Chinese investors have been known to come in and want to snap up properties. Knowing these figures are happening, is this going to change things? Yeah,
well, David, in my career, I sold over 1,000 properties, and so I worked during the GFC, and during the GFC we saw there was a property dip in the market, and we then saw the Australian government, on both sides, Liberal and Labor, both sides of the table, actually bring in opportunities for overseas investment. So we'll always use that tap, and we'll always be a very safe haven for overseas investment, but the real opportunities for the mums and dads of Australia to get out of the rat race and actually take advantage of the fact that we do have buildings, new dwellings going up, and that seems to still be quite steady.
So, Aussies out there interested in buying a home, really brass tacks, should they be now?
Well, 100%. They need to go see a professional, go see one of our guys at Yellow Brick Road, go see a professional, get a pre-approval, see what you can get into today, because the sooner you get into the market, the more the opportunity is going to be.
But, you know, with the markets looking so volatile, people out there want to invest, they have no idea how to. Where do they start?
Look, David, I think you just got to keep it very simple right at the beginning. So, you know, have a bit of a plan in place. I think you need to look at your savings. You know, I say more is lost with indecision than wrong decision. Make a few sacrifices. One less dinner a week, one less holiday a year. Make those sacrifices. Get a bit of a plan in place. Get a bit of a savings together. Go see a professional about what you can actually borrow, and then actually sit down and say, OK, you've got all these great educational opportunities now through the internet and so forth. Sit down with somebody, go and find a good opportunity and get into the market.
Don't go over your head, just go baby steps at a time. Andrew Morello, always good to see you.
Thanks very much, David.
Sylvia.
And Ross Greenwood back shortly with more on the market meltdown overnight. Still to come this morning, all the latest from the Australian Open as Nick Kyrgios grinds his way to the next round. We're live to Melbourne. Plus, the dirtiest, nastiest and most outrageous